and the speakers and participants. A very good afternoon to all the panelists and esteemed speakers for this webinar titled International Dimensions to Promotion of Rural Tourism in Odisha, Opportunity of Employment and Entrepreneurship. Good afternoon to all participants also. I, Professor Jyoti Ranjan Mahanti, Dean School of Business, SBM University, Bhubaneswar, extend a warm welcome to you all on behalf of ASBM University and INGLOBE-SC, the think tank promoting Odisha globally. In fact, this webinar is being jointly hosted by INGLOBE-SC and ASBM University. We at ASBM University are quite excited to have with us distinguished panelists, Sri Abasara Beuria, IFS retired former ambassador, Sri Vivek Patnaik, IFS retired former director, International Civil Aviation Organization, and also former chairman of OPSC. We are pleased to have Sri Dhirenchi Misra, travel writer, tourism consultant, and former joint director of Odisha Tourism. I'm sure they all have world of experience to share. Madam Dr. Anita Sabath, researcher, trustee, Odita Trust, and director Sabath Exports Private Limited. She will be sharing her thoughts on how handicraft and handloom sector could be promoted globally. And finally, we have with us Madam Apurva Ram, content writer and digital marketer. She will be sharing her views on entrepreneurship and rural tourism. I welcome you all once again. Now, a brief introduction regarding ASBM University. You all be knowing about ASBM University. Though ASBM University is well known in India abroad, and I'll just briefly introduce it, as it is located in the lap of nature in the green campus, very close to Chandaka Wildlife Sanctuary, Bhubaneswar. ASBM School of Business Management, established in the year 2006 by Professor Biswajit Patnaik, former Professor IIM Indore and Lucknow, now stands upgraded and conferred with the university status in 2019 for its quality and outstanding achievements. ASBM University now carries forward the ASBM legacy of excellence and innovation in education and research and offers cutting-edge programs in various disciplines. ASBM University offers both undergraduate and postgraduate programs, including doctoral programs. We have 4 schools here, namely the ASBM School of Business, ASBM School of Accountancy, ASBM School of Communication, and ASBM School of Information System. Now, from the coming academic sessions, we are launching new courses, including rural management, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. Now, in the interest of the students and considering the fast changes in the corporate sector, we at ASBM University keep on updating our course curriculum every year and keep adding latest developments. We focus on action learning, leadership, and holistic development of the students. And we have certain innovative teaching pedagogy, including case-based learning, quality mentoring, business sector analysis, finishing school programs. Now, with the 15 years of excellence in education and research, I am happy to share with you all that ASBM is the only university in the Eastern India to be awarded global accreditation from ACBSP, which stands for Accreditation Council of Business Schools and Programs USA, for its MBA program. Now, university has also been receiving A++ rating from the Business India Best School Survey since the year 2011 on a continuous basis. Our international collaboration includes major USA universities such as Metropolitan State University.
You have it muted. You have it muted. You have it muted. You're on.
Professor Mohanty, please turn on. Professor Mohanty, you are on mute.
You have it muted.
Any audio problem?
No. Please turn on your microphone, Professor Mohanty.
Professor Mahanti.
Sir, कहउछन्ती विवेक पटनायक sir. Hello. Hello.
Okay.
Professor
Should I go
Bhante is
ahead?
audible now.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, very good.
No, I just need another 2 minutes to complete my introduction, sir.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So today's theme is today's theme from the webinar is promoting rural tourism destinations and product of Odisha internally. We all know that the importance of tourism and more so the rural tourism for its potential positive economic, social, cultural benefits for a developing country like ours. It is said every dollar spent by a tourist changes hand 13 times, and every hotel room generates direct employment to about 3 persons and indirect employment to another 8 persons. There is increasing interest in the rural tourism, particularly of overseas tourists, due to ugly sides of the urban-centric approach to tourism in their own countries. This has led to what is called counter-urbanization syndrome, which creates growing interest in the rural tourism. In Odisha also, we have many rural tourist destinations, and a few of them have been taken up under the RTP, that is Rural Tourism Project Schemes of Government of India, since the year 2002. RTP projects provides funds for infrastructure development and capacity building under two components, that is hardware and software components. Many of you might be aware of. But these destinations, the problem is, need to be marketed adequately by all the stakeholders, including government. Bringing these destinations to the knowledge of the prospective tourist generating countries is essential. I think you will all agree with me in that score. Now, to share our thoughts on these issues, we have our eminent personalities with rich experience and expertise, how to change and strategize promoting Odisha tourism overseas. Now, I request Sri Vivek Patnaik sir and Sri Abasara Beuria sir to take the webinar session forward as per our agenda fixed. Now, Vivek Patnaik sir, please.
Thank you very much. Professor Jyoti Prakash Bhante, I hope I'm audible now.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
I thank you very much, Professor Bhante, for giving us an address. I also thank the management of ASPM, particularly the President, Biswajit Patnaik, and Vice Chancellor, Professor Kalyan Rai, for agreeing to host the meeting of Inglomacy, Institute of Global Diplomacy, for the first time through virtual mode. This is Institute of Global Diplomacy for the benefit of the members, maybe for the participants who are not members of this institute. I would like to say a few words about Institute of Global Diplomacy, which is called Inglomacy, which is a group of professionals drawn from diverse disciplines for promoting Odisha globally. It organizes seminars and workshops for promotion of Odisha's tourism, trade, business, commerce, and culture for economic gain of the state. And in addition, it arranges visits abroad for similar purpose. Its activities also cover receptions of foreign visitors, delegations, and dignitaries for the purpose on Odisha's economic growth. It publishes and disseminates bulletins on its activities. The theme of the present webinar is on the promotion of rural tourism of Odisha internationally by identifying opportunities of employment and entrepreneurship. The webinar will be presided over by Ambassador Abasare Behuria, who has been a career diplomat as a member of the Indian Foreign Service. He has been posted in Myanmar, Japan, former Soviet Union, United Arab Emirates, and he served as India's ambassador in Madagascar. Sri Biranchi Mishra, the principal speaker of today's webinar, is a highly experienced professional in tourism, having held high-level position in the Department of Tourism of the Government of Odisha. As a joint director and the director to tourism, he would give a panoramic view of the theme, the scope and opportunities and challenges. I had the great privilege of having worked with him when more than 40 years ago, I was the director of tourism, and subsequently when I was secretary of tourism of Government of Odisha. His lecture would be followed by a presentation by Dr. Anita Sabat, who would highlight on the scope of Odisha handicrafts, handlooms, local and indigenous sweets, which could be catalytic agents of promotion of rural tourism in Odisha, drawing visitors from different parts of the world. Dr. Anita Sabat is known to me for many years. She is an authority in geographic identification. In fact, she pioneered a movement to see that Odisha Rasagulla is given due recognition, not only in India, but also in the world. And finally, Apurva Ratha, a young entrepreneur, would give her views on business opportunity area, illustrating her action plan. I came to know her in a seminar organized by SOA University, where she showed tremendous amount of zeal to actually make rural tourism in Odisha realistic and practical. So this webinar will be followed by 2 more sessions when Ambassador Malay Mishra, who is present, I find, in this seminar, former member of the Foreign Service, and Professor Sitikantha Mishra, the Dean of the Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality Management of SOA University, and former Director General of Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, and Professor Sampath Swain, the head of the Department of Tourism of Management of Pondicherry Central University, Mrs. Sandhya Patnaik, Director of National Fashion of Design, and Mrs. Rupa Mudra Tripathi, an executive of UNICEF, an international organization of youth. They will make their presentations in the next session. Further, Senor Jorge Solano Arturo Cordoba, the former commercial director of Avianca, a Latin American air carrier, will also address the webinar and interact with the people of Odisha to highlight how exactly tourism is done in Costa Rica and other Latin American countries, particularly rural tourism, how they can establish collaboration with their counterparts in India and particularly in Odisha. Thank you very much, Professor. After this, I will request Mr. Ambassador Abasare Behuria to take over from me and conduct the meeting. Thank you very much, Professor Mohanty.
Mr. Vivek Patnaik, President Inglomacy, Professor Jyoti Ranjan Mohanty of ASBM, esteemed panelists, and distinguished participants. Good evening. Namaskar. Now, today's theme of the webinar is International Dimension to Promotion of Rural Tourism in Odisha, with specific reference to employment and entrepreneurship. If I remember correctly, last year, that is 2020, on the occasion of World Tourism Day, which again was the 40th anniversary of WTO, the theme was rural tourism and development, if I remember correctly. Now that shows the importance that is given internationally to rural tourism, and more so after the COVID-19, because they estimated that because of COVID-19, there will be a fall, tourist arrival fall, to the extent of 60 to 80%. So that is why it is the time to think how to promote and develop rural tourism. Now, what exactly tourism means, rural tourism means? It is actually showcasing the rural life, rural art, culture, festivals, rituals. This is how the rural tourism can develop, but this is only one aspect. Now, why showcasing all these things? What is the benefit? The benefit first is to the local community. Benefit economically and socially. As you know, 80% of extreme poverty ridden people live in rural areas. So if rural tourism is promoted and developed, then it will benefit them economically and socially. Now, what is the other benefit? It will revive and preserve their tradition, their heritage. Dance, music, folk culture, festivals, architecture, and that will give the community or bring pride to the community is one aspect that has to be also kept in view. Now, what are the other benefits rural tourism will do? It will generate employment in the rural areas. It will facilitate new skills to the people, and it will improve the quality of life in rural India, rural Odisha. Now, not only that, it will also empower women and the youth that we see in the Northeast India. So these are some of the benefits that rural tourism gives to the local community. Apart from that, it will also help in cultural exchange. People coming from abroad or from other parts of India, there will be a cultural exchange. And that will lead to another thing also. It will arrest or stop or minimize the drift to urban areas. Whatever the problems of migrants we recently saw can be handled and managed if the rural economy improves through rural tourism. Now, the other thing that we will come to know that apart from migration to the cities, most of the cities are in decadence because of this migration can also be curtailed. Now, that will also give tax revenue to the government enormously. Now, in short, it will transform the rural areas. So that is why it is very important that we should think very seriously of promoting rural tourism, particularly in Odisha. Now, Odisha has everything which a tourist wants to see or experience in a country or in a place or in a destination which he doesn't see or they don't see nearer the place of their residence. Now, except a snow-capped mountain, I think Odisha has everything. We have 480 kilometers of coastline. We have forests, jungles, we have water bodies, we have heritage sites which ranges from 4th century BC or beyond that, probably because of the rock paintings that we have described, to the modern life which we see in the capital of Odisha. So this shows that we can offer anything what rest of India can offer. Actually, the slogan should be something different. You know, Incredible India. If you have no time to see Incredible India, visit Odisha, because in a nutshell, you can see the whole of India. Everything is here. We are a self-contained culture. Now, how do we promote tourism, rural tourism? Now, what are the three most important things that will be required? First is connectivity. Any tourist destination must have good connectivity, whether it's by air, by rail, by road, and more importantly, that should be Wi-Fi and internet. And there should be facilities for, cashless transactions. Now, I can say from my experience when we were very young, the connectivity to rural area was in Odisha left much to be desired. But thanks to the Prime Minister's Sadak Yojana and other schemes, villages and rural areas in Odisha now are accessible, and tourism can be developed if there is a political will and there is a determination. But apart from that, the connectivity, we need also accommodation, good accommodation. It's not that it should have 5-star accommodation, clean, nice, livable accommodation in rural areas. And last but most important, that we should have tourist-friendly local population. Now, for that, I think the government or the private sector should make people aware or educate them so that we create a group of tourist-friendly population in tourist destinations. Now, that is possible provided we identify some villages and see that the pristine nature is there and rich local traditions are there, so that people will be attracted. As I was telling you earlier, a tourist goes to see places or live in places which he or she doesn't find it nearer home. Now, we have many things in our villages and rural areas. We have good traditions like Bhagavat Tungis. We have good tradition of Grama Devis. We have Sankirtan mandalis in some areas. We have festivals like Dola Purnima. We have Paika dance, we have Sakhi dance, we have Prahlad Natak, we have Danda Nritya, we have also 62 tribes, and 3 of them are probably endemic. Now their dance, Jhumar or Ghumar or Paraja dance, all these things are to be taken into consideration when we promote rural tourism. Of course, to some areas there will be some restrictions, but the entire state should be opened up to invite in the tourists from abroad and from the other parts of the country. Now, I find there are a lot of advertisements are in the international media like CNN and other places. Outside Odisha also, you find everywhere Odisha tourism is promoting eco retreat. They have identified few very popular destinations and probably offering a lot of facilities. But apart from that, I think we should go beyond those 4 or 5 places, whether Saskasia, Hirakud, or Daringibadi. We have to go to other areas. So there are beautiful places in other areas. So, but we have to see there are 2 these things that it should have a rich local tradition, pollution-free, pristine nature, and a tourist-friendly local population, along with other requirements which I have said. Now, I will just want to stop here. These are some of the ideas I'm throwing up, but we have a very distinguished panel today. Those who will go more into details and probably give you their ideas on this. With this, I conclude my remarks and now request Shri Viranchi Mishra, a very knowledgeable and a former additional director of tourism, to throw some light on rural tourism in Odisha. He's a very experienced person too. Mr. Mishra.
Good evening, everybody. This is Viranchi Mishra. Mr. Vivek Patnaik, my mentor, my boss in my initial career of tourism. I began my career in 1973 and he became the Director of Tourism in 76, 77. So whatever I have learned in tourism, partly credit goes to him, along with late Mr. A.N. Tiwari. My foundation was laid by both of them, in fact. Mr. Avasara Behuria also have come in across with you, sir, on many occasions, and I found a very solid person in you with the ambassador and foreign postings background, but down to earth, rooted to the state. My other co-panelist, Professor Jyotiranjan Mohanty, incidentally, he happened to be a student of mine in IGNOU. I was fortunate to have a student like him. And in fact, he did a project in rural tourism under my supervision. So thank you, Mr. Mohanty, for inviting me. Thank you, Dr. Mr. Patnaik and Mr. Behuria. ASBM and IGNOU also, I am grateful to them for giving me this opportunity. Taking a cue from what Professor Jyotiranjan Mohanty said and Professor Mr. Avasara Behuria said, I will like to take a recap before I go to the subject of rural tourism. The concept, in fact, the background goes to the Industrial Revolution period. For the sake of record, let me tell you. Post-Industrial Revolution, Professor Jyotiranjan Mohanty mentioned about the urbanization syndrome and counter-urbanization syndrome. Post-Industrial Revolution, there is an exodus of people from rural areas to the newly found industrial areas. But after a period of time, the myth exploded. They felt suffocated in the industrial smokes and then again looked back to the rural areas. After a period of time, it came that again there was an urbanization syndrome. partly because almost after the Second World War and post-independence of India, most of our developmental activities concentrated in the urban areas. I will not say we neglected the villages, but somehow the facilities were created more in the cities and towns than in the villages. So there was a growth of the young people who wanted to have a career. They shifted to the urban areas. Take for example, during this pandemic period also, there is all online classes, but not many remote areas have the internet connection. The power structure is not very encouraging. There is not uninterrupted power supply. So all these things again made them to go to the town and cities area. But even then, again, we have come back in the 21st century. We have come back to the, again, counter-urbanization syndrome, and we are looking back to the villages. In the meantime, the attitude of the people also has changed. They have changed from the very concept of going to the places. I'll say earlier it was a subjective tourism. When people started moving out, they had a target in mind. They will see a monument, they will see a beach, they will see a sanctuary. But now it is objective tourism. When people go out, they want to explore, experience, and enjoy. Seeing the thing is not the only factor that influences them to go out. The target is open-ended and vast and varied. They are more participatory. Earlier, they just wanted to go as an onlooker or an observer. But now they want to participate in different events, different activities, in our fairs and festivals, in our other settings. They would like to be a part of our celebration. With this kind of mindset, there is a lot of scope for promoting rural tourism in India as well as in Odisha. As Mr. Avasara Bevria and Professor Mohanty said, that about 80% of our people live in rural areas, in about 7 million villages. So whatever, if somebody has to say that he has seen India, he has to see a village. Till now, we are concentrating our activities in the urban areas. Now, as Mr. Avasara Bevria said, that Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, the electrification and other facilities are being developed in the rural areas also. So what we need to do is to capsule them, all these facilities, and showcase in our rural settings. Now, in Odisha, the rural tourism concept has been there for about 30 years now. In the 90s, we started talking about rural tourism, people visiting, taking tourists to villages. In 2002, there was a government scheme of the Government of India, the Rural Tourism Scheme, which formally introduced the rural tourism in our country. And Odisha, incidentally, Raghurajpur in Odisha was the first village in India to be identified as the rural tourism village. And funds came, and thereafter we have taken up about 7 more villages, about 8 villages we took for. But unfortunately, this scheme was not properly understood and implemented. The sequence of events happened like that, that the scheme was envisaged by the Government of India. It was to be developed through the state government by a convergence committee under the supervision of the district collector, and resources of other organizations pooled together, like connectivity, like improving the power supply, like improving the water supply and sanitation. Other, not only the funds of the tourism department, but funds of other departments also pooled together. Now, this concept, I was the person in charge of these activities when this subject started in Odisha, and I know it was difficult for us to convince the other organizations and even the collectors to understand the integrated development concept of rural tourism. Consequently, even in a place like Raghurajpur, which is hardly 12 kilometers from Puri, got started very late. It took a lot of time even today, this morning I visited Raghunathpur once again, and I found that the road to the village that was developed, we can hardly take a bus into the village. So, with this experience, the rural tourism concept in Odisha, although it is about 30 years old, it is still at a nascent stage, and that is, we can take advantage of this. We could convert this. In fact, it is a green pasture now for the entrepreneurs and for the government to take up. Now, rural tourism, as Mr. Abasara said, the concept says that it has to showcase the rural culture, rural ambience, rural art and craft, rural dance and music, etc. Now, we can do it in two ways. One, by taking the tourists to the villages, and second, by getting the village ambience to the cities and town. We tried in both areas. I'm making a reference to the urban heart concept. Looking at the success of Delhi Heart, the urban heart concept started in Odisha with the Ekamra Heart in Bhubaneswar. But fortunately or unfortunately, the location of the Ekamra Heart has been there in the exhibition ground in such a way that it is hardly attracting tourists. Neither the travel agents are taking the tourists to the heart, nor there is a regular concept, a regular visit of the tourist, like the local tourists staying in the hotel have the idea that there is such a heart existing in the city. The urban heart as constructed at Puri and Konark is yet to start. For about a decade or more than that, it is languishing, it is yet to start. So it is a question of implementation. Now coming to the rural tourism, taking the tourist to villages, here comes the opportunities of employment and entrepreneurship. Now, it is a teamwork. I'll say that for the promoting tourism as it is a teamwork, and in case of rural tourism, it is more a question of teamwork. Tourism is a government-led and private sector-driven industry. The government has to provide the basic infrastructure, basic facilities, and act as a facilitator. And the entrepreneurs have to take the risk of enterprisership and invest and take up the matter very seriously. Both have to go together. Here, the connectivity, the roads connectivity and other sectors have to be taken care of by the government, and the entrepreneurs have to take care of the other aspects. Now, coming to the opportunities of employment in rural areas, as Mr. Abasara is telling, that in rural areas we have more than many things to showcase where people can get engaged, get employment locally. They can be self-employed, they can get a job. There are scope to create employment opportunities in rural areas very vast. Like, for example, there are areas, I list out some of the areas where we can create employment opportunities and the entrepreneurs can take up the way forward. Ethnic cultural shows, there are almost every village have their own cultural shows. Dance and music, Mr. Beoria was referring to some of the local concepts like Pala, Daskathia, local dramas, local art, dying. There are many dying art forms. There are musical instruments which we used to hear in our childhood days are now getting extinguished. Then culinary art, this is very important. When the tourists go to a village, they need to have some food, some beverages. The culinary art, there are a lot of dishes prepared in the traditional way in our villages, which we can serve to the tourists. Then ethnic food and beverages. Agricultural activities, farm activities are one area which we are not showcasing. Although Odisha is very rich in farm cultivation, we produce one of the very finest varieties of rice in India, and we are not able to showcase this. In fact, tourists see what are shown to them. So far, our showcasing of the tourism activities have been limited to taking the tourists only to a few monuments, to the seaside, to some sanctuaries, and of late to some tribal areas. But we are not showcasing all these art forms, all these cultural activity that we have in rural areas. If we promote, Raghurajpur is one example where this has been tried, and this has been to some extent successful. I will not say fully, but to some extent successful. There, every 133 families are there who are busy in different types of art. If the tourists go, even today morning, I see during this pandemic also, I see some tourists from outside the Odisha coming from Pune, from a foreign tourist coming from Germany also. I found him moving around. Maybe he is a local, he is staying in India at the moment, but he has been visiting these places. And there, other activities which we can take was the homestay facilities. In Raghurajpur, under the scheme, there are 2 guest houses which have been constructed there, and people are staying. Similarly, as Mr. Avasara Behuria said, we cannot take all the tour, or we cannot promote all the villages at a time. What we need to do is to identify some villages and integrate them to the main circuit tourism. Unfortunately, I will give an example. Hirapur, hardly 10-12 kilometers from Bhubaneswar, has not been integrated even in the traditional cultural tourism scheme. Next to Hirapur, there is a village called Balakati, where we have this Kansa Pittala Asana, and that we are not able to integrate. What is necessary is to integrate all this. We identify some villages, and then we integrate them with exclusive tour packages, or we integrate them with the existing tour packages, so that tourists can have an idea about that, have an opportunity to visit these villages and see what is being done there. What is necessary is, Mr. Behuria was pointing out about the publicity matter. Publicity, yes, okay.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
What is happening?
What's happening? Hello.
Hello.
Biranchogo kuhantu athara.
I got disconnected.
Yeah. No, you just please continue.
Okay, so what we need is that back home we must prepare ourselves to entertain tourists, to deal with the tourists, and the government must facilitate with the other activities, and the entrepreneurs must take the challenge that whatever the tourists need, that, as I said, packaging is one problem that the tourists are facing. They are I found a lot of tourists interested to take the textile, our Sambalpuri textile, but they cannot get it stitched at their place. So they want somebody to get the textiles stitched here and then send it to them across. So some of the guides are doing this. So this type of activities can be taken, where some people can be engaged in stitching the dresses for the tourists, international tourists, and then package to them. So this way, there are a lot of opportunities where we can showcase and create employment opportunities. Now, the objective of tourism development is, in my opinion, there are 3. One, increase the tourist traffic. Second, enhance their duration of stay. And third, ensures their satisfaction. And all these things, for all these things, we need diversification of activities. We need to diversify our activities from the traditional ones to new areas. if we want to increase the tourist traffic, we must open up new areas, and some of the rural locations can be most ideal as to serve as new destinations for the tourists. Similarly, for extension of duration of stay, at the moment, what we are doing is we are taking the tourists to even to Raghurajpur for an hour or so. I would like them to stay, if not stay in the village, we can motivate them to stay in the village rather than staying in a city. If not, they can spend a whole day in the village so that their duration is extended. At the moment in Odisha, the duration of foreign tourists is 9.75 days, and for the domestic tourist it is 3.75 days. Even for our own people also, seeing a village will be of interest to those who are living in cities. So we want them to spend more time, and for that we need more locations. Mr. Bevria mentioned about the eco retreats. Now, along with eco retreats, there are 6 places which the government is promoting, and there are some about 50 locations in the forest areas which are called eco destinations, developed by the Forest Department in association with the Tourism Department. And these are also located in the rural settings. But the way the government is promoting these activities, that focus should come to the rural tourism activities as well, so that we identify some villages every year. Let us identify 1 or 2 villages, and then we focus on that, and we make it integrated. We take an integrated development approach, so that it gets across to the tourists, and they plan accordingly. The travel agents also have a role to play when they are preparing a package for the tourists. They should also include some of the villages where they can spend a full day. Now, there are some other areas these are all we are creating ourselves, but there are certain traditional hearts, traditional markets in rural areas, especially in the tourists who are visiting tribal areas are visiting the local markets. In many villages, there are also local markets. These local markets also can be showcased. All that is required is to implement. It's a question of implementation, and the entrepreneurs have to take this challenge and market and package them in such a way that the tourists will be motivated. Lastly, I would like to say about we have to take some care and caution also. We must address the concerns of the tourists. International tourists are scared of 2 things. One is the dust, and the other one is the sanitary water. So we must arrange to provide them a dust-free atmosphere, a clean water, clean toilet. Safety and security is another concern. Then the authenticity of the art and craft. I have seen some of the artists, because they are directly interfacing with the tourists, they want to milk them like anything. But that should not be the tendency. The rate should be reasonable, and the art should be authentic. There should be a fair price. Then connectivity, Mr. Bevria mentioned that connectivity needs to be improved. In a nutshell, all these things taken together, if the enterprise, if the government has a mind, government should come forward as a facilitator, identify some 10 villages to start with, at least to be promoted the way government is promoting the eco retreats and the eco destinations. And then the entrepreneurs should think of the new area. The area is very vast, very green. Tap anything and they will see it. There are certain areas which even the local people have not seen. Take, for example, in Raghurajpur, there is a Pana Boroja, the betel vine. How many people have seen betel vines? The plucking up coconut from the coconut tree, that can be an activity. In fact, I remember when Prince Charles came in 1980, that was a specific event on the Marine Drive, and some people were set to, they would climb the coconut tree and pluck the coconut. That could be of interest. Even drawing water from the well, drying up clothes in the open along the riverside, water sports, the rivers or the water bodies that are there near the villages, we can introduce water. But all this, what I want to say is that we can create opportunities for the tourists to spend more time, so that they will spend more money and the locality will be benefited more economically. So with these things, I conclude my lecture. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I shall be happy to be associated in future too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Biraj, for your sharing of your ideas and thoughts, your experiences. It was quite interesting and also quite knowledgeable for all of us. Now I request Dr. Amita Sawant Madam to do her presentation. And I would request both of Dr. Amita Sawant Madam and Apurva Rock Madam to please limit their views to only 10 minutes each so that we can wind up within our limited time. And thereafter, I will request, for a summary by Vasavara sir. And so I request again both Amita Madam and Apurva Madam to please bear with us and also limit your views to only 10 minutes each. Thank you. Please.
Namaskar, Jai Jagannath. It's lovely to join this eminent panel. I would like to show a presentation. So, can you see my presentation, please?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Your screen is not visible.
All right. Let's check it out. Right now?
I think it is coming.
Yes.
Yes?
Okay, it's there.
Yes,
So
it's
Please
there.
go ahead.
yeah,
Please
great.
go ahead.
It's there now.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So we have a very interesting topic, and I would like to thank University and Indonesia for planning this. Yes, rural tourism is important, and handicrafts, handlooms, and sweets, which is a topic given to me, is important too. So here we are for the webinar, and our incredible India has awesome handicrafts and handlooms and many unique products. Odisha is just one of the few. Many of our products are linked with Sri Jagannath Temple, and this is the world famous Rath Yatra. So when we talk of tourism, we cannot but remember with pride our ancient maritime tradition and trade. So here you can see on the left, that's the handloom with boita, which is a boat. And on the right, you can see a Pattachitra, which shows the bandana. So this Odisha architecture also shows boat. And here we have this Kathak, the boat, and this is the boita Deola, which has an inverted boat on the top. So this was depicted in the 2016 Republic Day Parade, and ancient tradition. Every year on Kartik Purnima we sail boats. And if anyone can identify where is this from, then this is a famous architecture, and here this is a giraffe, and this is the Sun Temple of Odisha. But many people don't know, because only when people are informed they will become aware, and only when they become aware they will take action. And once we take action, then we can expect implementation and solution. So these all are our intellectual property, and these are I will be speaking on geographical indication, because tourism is linked with the geography, and so are these unique products, this handloom, handicraft, and sweets, agricultural products. All these come under GIs. So it's a sign which is used on products that have a specific geographical origin and possess qualities or reputation that are due to the origin. So GI is a community right. It's a type of IPR, which is an intellectual property right. It comes under the Ministry of Commerce, and this is the logo. The logo is invaluable treasures of incredible India, or Atulya Bharat ki Amulya Nidhi. So under this, we have all these handicrafts. Handicraft includes both handicraft as well as handlooms and manufactured goods, agricultural products, natural products, as well as food stuff. So this, so far, India has 370 GI products, and Odisha has many unique products. This is a book which I authored last year. These are about unique products because people do not know of them. So far, we have 17 GIs. And just because time is short, I'll just quickly run through them. This was the first GI product of Odisha, which is a Kotpad handloom. You can find national award winner Kotpad artisan over here. So we can plan this rural tourism for the linking it with the GI tourism. And we can go to these places like Kotpad is a small place in Koraput where these unique handlooms are woven. These are totally natural. This is a Odisha Ikat, which is a GI, and so is Sambalpuri Bandha and Khandua sari and fabrics. You can find all of them over here. This is famous Gita Govinda Khandua, which is Lord Jagannath's favorite. On the left, Taj Mahal, that is Dhara Pathar Padda and fabrics. Then we have the Barampur Phoda Kamba Patta and Joda, the Bomkai sari, and the Sambalpuri Bandha sari and fabrics. All these are GIs too. This is the Gopalpur Tussar. So it will be very interesting for the tourists to go and see how this tussar is, the silk is made, and there are many women are given employment for this, and there are the river water, how it is used for polishing the fine silk, which is world famous. So this is the Habbaspuri handloom of Kalahandi, which was recently showcased in this Republic Day. We had an awesome dance performance that is the Bajasal, and which was performed by 80 artists from Kalahandi. So these all are linked, like our previous speakers, Beodia Babu and Beodia Babu has already spoken about this, and so has Mishra Babu. This is the Odisha Pattachitra, which is Raghurajpur is famous for this, but other places in Odisha also do this. This it's very interesting for the tourists to see this and be a part of this. Many are wanting to learn how this is done. This is a world famous Pipli applique work. So applique also that is done in the Pipli village. For this, we must make it a point that every visitor gets to spend some time here, because earlier that road used to go through this Pipli village. Ever since the bypass has come, this village is skipped by many. So if this is in the itinerary, then people can buy these products, and these, by the way, are available everywhere. So this is one of stone carving sculptures, so Buddha sculptures, and how these are made. And this particular craft is done in this Khodda and Puri districts. So visitors can be taken and see how these are done. This is a Araku, I'm sorry, this is a Ganjam Kyoda flower and Ganjam Kyoda rue. So this also we can have as a sightseeing trip for the tourists. They can go see, experience, because Kyoda is one of the world's most fragrant flowers, and Ganjam district is very famous for this, and it produces about 90% of India's Kyoda, and the attar is also manufactured product, Ganjam Kyoda rue, which is also manufactured from this flowers. Then we have the Araku Valley Arabica coffee. So many of us must have heard of Koraput coffee, which we are promoting, but Koraput as a district has been included under Araku Valley Arabica coffee by the Coffee Board of India. So several other districts of Odisha like Raigada, Keonjhar, Gajapati, Kalahandi, they also have this Araku Valley. So we must encourage this field trips to these places so that they can see how it is done. Then Kandhamal Haladi, it is a very organic and wonderful produce of Odisha, and Daringbadi, where we have our eco retreat. There, all this is that is in that district only, Kalahandi, sorry, Kandhamal, and to this district, when once people come, then once we are promoting ecotourism so well, then Kandhamal Haladi can also be promoted. And then, of course, we have this Odisha Rasagolla, which we got GI. That was the last GI of Odisha that on July 29, 2019. We got this. So here you can see Pattachitra, then sand art, then our ritual, which is the Niladri Vijay, which comes on the last day of the Rath Yatra. People aren't aware of this. Apart from Rasagolla, which is made out of chena, which means cottage cheese. There are other chena sweets which need to be promoted, like chena khoi. You can see over here on the extreme right, this is chena tadia, chena khoi. All these are offered to Lord Jagannath. These are part of the Mahaprasad. Then Dandi Ramayana, 15th century text where Rasagolla is written. Once we get the GI product, then they are listed in the GI application register, which is great because then people will know of them. And other states are already promoting this GI tourism, so we need to start too. And these, all the products which I discussed right now, so these, we had promoted this in the this OTV had conducted one Rasagolla Mahotsav, and there we showcased all the GIs of Odisha. So out of 370 in India, we just have 17 GIs of Odisha, though we have 50 registered handicrafts and 30 districts. So we must plan this GI tourism for the district, at least one product per district. So one district, one product. If we do that also, that is great. And just like Shri Mishra just told before me, that if we can't take the people to the villages, we have to get the villages to the people. So that means, which is why the urban heart are important, and we need to include more products so that we'll have more. Now this is a Gajapati date palm jaggery. So Gajapati district, we have filed it last year, so we should be getting it awarded this year. So this date palm jaggery is very good, and this means it's a local produce, and just now as we discussed, this can be taken up. This is a Cuttack silver filigree, that is Tarakasi. And we did have this heritage tour of this Tarakasi place organized by the Cuttack Heritage Walk. Similarly, we can plan for Belaguntha Macho, which is a brass fish. Now, who can identify what is this? This is these are the turmeric leaves and the Haladi Patra Pitha, Induri Pitha, which is done on Prathamashtami. So all these festivals, this Prathamashtami is a very unique festival. So we need to see that how tourists come during that time, or else have such unique dishes in other times of the year too, so that they can come and sample. Like this is a Chena Jhili, for which government has said they will take steps for promotion. But then, as you can see at the end, one of my friends, though he stays in Bhubaneswar, he said he has never tasted this before when I shared it on Twitter. So there are many people out here in Bhubaneswar who have not even tasted our own Odisha sweets. So which is why we need a place in Bhubaneswar which can stock all the famous sweets, handicrafts, handlooms of Odisha in one place. Everything should be available, so that when a tourist comes, they can just go to that place and they'll find everything. Look at the rich handloom map of Odisha. There are so many products. I just told a couple of them which have got the GIs, but all these are there. This is the Barampur Phoda Kumbha Patto. So the Silk City, Barampur, there people can be taken and shown how in the looms things are done. Then indigenous toys also, we have so many toys, like starting from terracotta to coir crafts, so many. But unfortunately, not a single toy of Odisha has been registered as GI so far. This I'm showing the rest of the toys of India. So now this is the Lakha Joe Kandhe of Baleswar. This was promoted by OD Museum of Chilika. There was a Joe Kandhe Bahagara, means marriage of lakh dolls. Now this can be taken. This can be very interesting for the tourists, and we should organize more such events. And Lakhot, I just saw in the comment section how someone was mentioning that Ganjam district is so backward and not well promoted. Now, this is a very wonderful tourist potential place which is there in Ganjam. It is Jogada, which has Ashoka's inscription, and yet people do not know about this. So the knowledge about local and products can be helpful for tourism. Now Odisha, India and abroad. But first, what we have, we need to know that unless we ourselves are aware, we cannot promote it. Charity begins at home. So for this, we need to develop all this, like there has to be education, documentation, library, museum, films, documentaries, online promotion, webinars, seminars, exhibitions, events. Then for GI, we need a couple of other steps which we need to do. Then this is the certificate, GI certificate, which our company, Sabat Expos Private Limited, has got. We are promoting handicrafts and handlooms. So this is our website, www.utkalamrita.com, where anyone can order anything. You can get it stitched also. You can check out the website. These have to be linked. Now, this is Vidya Bhajan, Padma Shri actress who has worn the Shri Ganit sari, which has mathematical symbols woven all over. It's a Sambalpuri Bandha sari. And this my sister Amrita had contacted their team, after which Vidya Balan wore it, and now we are very happy to say that 40 looms are making this sari. We also conducted an e-auction which an IITN student took, and the entire 55,000 bid amount was transferred to the weaver Bhagavata Meher. So these all are stories which we need to weave, and once the tourists come, they can see, meet the weavers, interact. This is a GI store in the airport. This is India's first GI store, which was opened in Goa airport. We need similar stores in Odisha. We do not have a exclusive handicraft handloom sweet store. Yes, we have a Rasgulla store in Bhubaneswar airport, but not the others. This is the GI exhibition, which was at IITF Delhi. So once we take all our unique products, and people will know about them, we need to show. We need to make
Anita
them wear.
madam, Anita
Yes.
madam, I'm sorry to interfere, but may I request you to kindly wind up?
Sure. Yeah, so live demos are needed because जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, and जो बिकता है वो दिखता है. As I already covered, one district, one product is needed. GI tourism can give lot of employment. Correct representation is needed, value addition, and everyone needs to be brand ambassador. Buy, use, and gift products. Make others wear our goods so that it can be vocal for local and vocal for handmade. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Anita madam. It was so wonderful hearing you. We could have gone on. Lot many things we are interested to hear from you. Maybe next time we'll do it. Now I request Apurva Rast madam to do her presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, the esteemed panelists who spoke before me. And I, as an entrepreneur, learned a lot of more opportunities. And my brain is already racking with a lot of possibilities that we can do, how rural tourism in Odisha can compete and be put into the map of rural tourism that is being taken places in different states of India. So I will be sharing my presentation. Please allow me a moment. Can everybody see my screen?
It's coming, it's coming.
Yeah. So today I will be covering the topic of rural tourism and the entrepreneurial opportunities related. I got into, I am a very huge travel enthusiast. I do travel writing. And along with that, I have a huge passion of food. I met with Vivek sir in an event organized by SOA, and there I actually understood how much enjoy tourism and how much the information sir suggested it opened my eyes wide that there is so much we can do and we are just letting go of huge opportunity in our hand. So, rural tourism, according to me, the opportunities can be divided into two parts. One is the agriculture or agri-tourism. Second is experience tourism. Agricultural tourism is something where people can go get their hands-on experience on different type of agricultural activities, be it sowing, be it harvesting, or it can be simply packaging of the end product in the market. When a person becomes a part of the process, they connect better to it, and that is one of the best type of marketing we can expect for any kind of organic product. Like my previous speaker, Madam Sabat spoke, for the GI tourism, agri-tourism can be a very important and essential part of advertisement. I will be taking to the entrepreneurial part as a marketeer and a experienced traveler myself. Uh, I believe experienced travel is something for all those people who are looking for a break from their hectic schedules on a day-to-day basis. So the experienced travel gives them an opportunity to live a world that is not their own. They can see how somebody else's lifestyle is. They can go for homestays. They can opt for an experience that is provided not in that particular village or not in the city, but somewhere which is dedicated to a particular experience. So this type of tourism is very trending these days, and people are, especially foreigners, are looking for such experience. So the basic idea that we need to keep in mind while we are promoting and doing any kind of activity for rural tourism is we are trying to protect and preserve the local community, their arts, their culture, their ethnicity, and everything. It should not be globalized or commercialized in a way that it only benefits us, not the people who are living in that place at the end of the day. So now coming to the different roles and responsibilities an entrepreneur and the locals need to have in order to have a successful rural tourism opportunity. First and the foremost, the most important part would be trust. Without trust between the government agencies, the entrepreneurs, the private stakeholders, and between the respective villages that we are targeting, a rural tourism event cannot be successful. When there is trust, there will be mutual understanding and there will be transparency in the work that is going on. Second, homestays are a very trending experience right now. People welcome foreigners into their houses and give them and show them a demo of how their lives are. That experience is priceless and cannot be earned. So in these cases, the locals should be open to provide such an experience or should have the facility to enable us to develop infrastructure in order to provide the experience. And the third and another important part is the livelihood that we need to focus. We should be able to provide employment opportunities and revenue earning opportunities to all the people who are living in these rural places. Following to the role of locals, in order to have a successful experience, the involvement of locals along with the other stakeholders is very important because we might not know the place as well as they do. At times we might, at times we might not. But involving when we take their decisions, their inputs into consideration, the experience becomes more beautiful and more fruitful. And the other part is obviously the financial part, that is the profit sharing activity. That if in partnership, for example, we have built a supply store where all the forest produces like essential oils or it be spices like kandhamal haldi or even it be millets that is being farmed, they can sell in those stores and the people who are looking after the maintenance, the marketing, there is a commission or there is a profit sharing understanding that has been made from the beginning in order to ensure utmost harmony. While during my interaction with Mr. Vedanchi, sir, at his kind house, he welcomed us. He shared about an experience he had in one of the western states that led us into talking, thinking about an opportunity of creating a concept similar to an heart, but not exactly. This infrastructure would revolve around the ethnic food. Here, people from respective areas, for example, my mother belongs to Kandhamal district, and whenever I have been there for my winter vacations or summer vacations, one of the must-have things I've been told is the desi chicken that is roasted underground by covering with mud and all the local spices that have been farmed in the villages nearby. So that experience is something that if I have it at that place or somebody from that region makes it, I will get that experience. So if we can find a way by taking into consideration the government policies and the other stakeholders, an infrastructure which devotes itself to just the food and the craft of part of the rural tourism, it can give employment opportunities to all the women who have an expert hand in making delicious food, while the regional dances like tribal dance, be it pala or be it Joda Badya, I hope I'm not wrong. Uh, that performance, while people are enjoying this culinary or gastronomical experience, this will definitely help boosting uh, motivation. This will actually boost and motivate a lot of people to try out this experience. Now, as entrepreneurs, we need to facilitate a lot of infrastructures that can be built for be that for demonstrating the different products that they intend to sell, or living facilities for people from the state, from the country, or from abroad who want to have the experience on the first hand. So, infrastructure would basically include some house designed with keeping in mind the Odisha architecture in it, basic hygiene facilities, then for educating the people in order to help us achieve our goal for rural tourism and provide them with livelihood, different training centers, different workshop conducting places. So these kind of facility development can be done by entrepreneurs. Second would be providing livelihood opportunities. They can be either tourist guides, they can be travel operators, they can be cooks or any kind of people who are involved in culinary arts. There can be opportunities of catering services that people can provide for various events happening in and out of the city or even in the respective villages. Now, what would be the framework that we might need to follow in order to promote rural tourism? First would be we would be needing to find out what are the different government policies that can help us achieve our quest. After we have an idea of what policies and how we can benefit from them, then would come the another important part, that is the training institute. Tourism industry is a vast industry, and knowing the basics of the industry will help us provide the utmost uh, value and experience to the end user. The other part would be finding out different circuits of tourism. Like we can target Darinbadi, but there is a nearby village called Mandasaru, which is a very known. It is actually a biodiversity resort has been recently made over there. I visited it personally, and it is being run by some beautiful and amazing ladies. And such places need to be identified in order to pinpoint the areas we need to target first and how to go about the marketing and drawing the attention part of it. Second, once we have pinpointed these locations, what is it about that location that will attract the tourists? That we need to find out in order to say, okay, you come to XYZ people, experience, let's say, nature in its true form. Like Mr. Abusara Deoria said in the beginning of the session, that in Odisha, you can experience everything in a nutshell. So, what experience are we trying to provide? We need to pinpoint, and then we can promote it. Then next would be the tourism infrastructure that can be shopping complexes, that can be housing complexes, educational complexes, or anything that suits our purpose. And the final part, which we cannot avoid,
Shiva
is the
madam, may I
marketing.
request you to please wind up your
Yeah, actually, sir,
Please,
this was, yes, sir, this is almost the last slide.
please.
So, the marketing part of it, we cannot avoid it because if people don't know about it, they won't reach out to the place. An activity was done by Uttarakhand's government regarding rural tourism. Is what they did. They went to a couple of lesser known places. They shot some photos. They recorded some moments. They printed it out as a calendar and they sold it to the street and to the nearby places. That gave them a significant boost in rural tourism. That is an activity which even we can perform. So I spoke about all of this. So in my aspect, once we pinpoint which places we are trying to advertise and what is their USP, we can definitely formulate a plan and find different entrepreneurial ways in which how we can achieve the maximum from rural tourism. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva madam. May I request Avasara Bevria sir to kindly summarize the whole.
I must admit that it was an excellent webinar, very educative, very inspiring too. And the presentation by the esteemed panelists gives rise to many ideas. How to be enterprising and how do we go about it. First, I must thank Biranchi Babu for giving elaborately the historical perspective and also identified the areas where, without sincere effort, good proposals have failed. So there is something to do with the execution part of it. I think he has given some examples of Raghurajpur or Ekram Mahat, and those were the first to be experimented in India, in our country. But despite that, it failed or it didn't come up to the expectation because there was something that follow-up action, that desire, that will was not there. So I think that I hope some of the government officials must be watching this to note these, failures that is blocking the tourism promotion. Now, he also said another thing which I think is very popular in countries like Sri Lanka and other places in Southeast Asia, the homestay facility. Our people should be familiar with the homestay facility and what benefit they get by not only by income, but to get an exposure to cultural exchange and things like that. He also pointed out that very nearby places like Hirapur and Balkati, these are the areas which can be promoted. It is very near to, Bhubaneswar, which is accessible by air, train, bus, and internet, whatever it is. Along with it, he mentioned about the 50 spots, forest spots, which need to be focused, which should be developed and promoted. But actually the other thing which I think all of us should know, that he talked about the local markets of tribal areas. That can be a very fascinating experience of the foreign tourists and even the domestic tourists. But the other thing which he highlighted, which I think is a very must, the government should do something about it, and the local population should also do something about it. That is the safety and security of the tourists. It's very important. And of late, the other problem which he highlighted is the authenticity of the crafts. Actually, recently, whatever the newspapers I read, it appeared to me that everything bhejal. ସବୁ ନକଲି ଜିନିଷ ସବୁ ହେଉଛି ଆମ ଆଖପାଖରେ କଟକରେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ, and it has crept into the crafts also. So that should be something should be done, and government should be the facilitator, and they should also try to develop the new areas of rural tourism. I must thank also Anita, gave a very detailed and very excellent presentation. But what in his presentation, what impressed me most was that she asked that, the GI and intellectual property should be kept in view while, promoting rural tourism in Odisha. Because she gave an example, the uniqueness of, Kutpad, Sambalpuri, Tassar, Pipli, stone carving, and the Keuda of Ganjam, Kandamal Haldi, and finally the, Odia cuisine. Now, these are actually things which none of us have thought before. And thanks to Anita, she has taken single-handedly, promoting this. And I hope that not only the government, we all should cooperate with her. Because this is a good idea. Actually, once you are in the intellectual property scenario or the GI scenario, naturally you are in the international stage. And people will like to know more about all these things. And there will be inquisitiveness, a curiosity to know what are these things, and they will be attracted to visit such places. So this is a excellent idea. I think it should be picked up by the entrepreneurs and also the government. She also talked something about that, more specific, that we should have one product in one district. And we should promote that. That's an excellent idea, which included also Gaspati district's Jageri, which I didn't know myself. But apart from that, there is filigree, bass, and hornwork, and she talked about Prasamashtami. So these are the things, should be promoted, and what are the means of promotion she had done, and all of us are aware of it. Thank you, Anita. Thank you for your presentation and promoting single-handedly all this GI and intellectual property thing. Apurva Rath, she also brought to us some new ideas. That is that agriculture tourism, how it can be promoted. And experience travel, yes. Even a cycle rickshaw travel is an experience. And it will probably attract more tourists, those who don't have this experience. Along with this, she has also talked about the roles and responsibility or the trust between the government, the entrepreneurs, and the local people, and the role of locals, role of entrepreneurs. So if all these things are taken care of, what we discussed today, what Biraj Babu said, or Anita said, or Apurva Rath said, if all these things we can take note of it and probably impress upon the stakeholders, whether it is a government as a facilitator or the local population who benefit out of it, I think Odisha has everything to gain and nothing to lose. I think this should be the message of this webinar. What I would also like to propose, I must thank Vivek Babu for thinking of this webinar and for the able support of the ASBM and Professor Mahanti in particular. What I wish probably to all these messages that, or all the conclusions that we came to it through this webinar, it should reach the rural population also. That's why probably next time some such seminar in Odia we should organize, so that the message meant for some people, and they are the biggest stakeholder, and they are going to benefit most, must know their responsibilities and what is the scope they are not aware of, which I think if Vivek Babu, ASBM, and others agree, I think I will, my humble suggestion is that some such themes should be both in English and Odia, but separately. Thank you very much once again. particularly ASBM for providing this platform, and all the panelists. Thank you very much for all your presentations. And God willing, we'll see you again. Let's hope this corona is over soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Augustus Bera sir, Vivek sir, and Madam Anita and Madam Apurva and Viren sir, all the panelists and all the participants who had joined here. Okay, both of them are offered. So I would assure you all panelists here that the advices that are the guidance, whatever you have given regarding conducting another seminar in both Oriya and English, so that we can really reach out to the intended stakeholders. It's a very good suggestion. I'll try to pursue this, and maybe we'll come forward with another webinar in the near future. Thank you all, and also I would like to thank all my.
Maulay Babu has raised hand. Ambassador Maulay Mishra has raised and he has to speak probably something.
Okay.
I doubt if I have any scope to speak after all that has been spoken, and extremely lucid, extremely informative, and there is hardly any scope to speak. However, I would make a point that there is always a lack of consistency in what we are saying. For example, what Apurva said, what Anita said, and it doesn't reach. It doesn't reach anywhere. It just somewhere echoes out. Biranchi Babu gave an excellent presentation, no doubt, but he's been in the tourism industry for years, and since 2002, this rural tourism is in vogue, and now we are in 2021, sir. 19 years have gone, and where are we? Have we developed these things at all? I mean, we have to introspect. We have to analyze our failures instead of highlighting. We are perhaps preaching to the converted. We all know where our state is, our diversities are, our products are. Everything is fine. We are fine, but we are not fine. Odisha is among the most backward states of India. Odisha is among the most poorest of states of India. Odisha is low down in the tourism, in the line. Why? Why has this come? Despite all the richness, all the wealth which we have got, why are we so poor? Why? I mean, we have to introspect. Rural tourism is fine. This initiative of Vivek Babu is excellent, and Ambassador Beuria has done a fine job, but it doesn't reach anywhere. Our ecotourism show, it's a fake. It doesn't mean anything. You have these superfluous, this and all those things where you have these elites coming and patronizing you. It's not tourism. Tourism is not reaching out to the people. If you want to promote tourism, if you want to showcase your tourism, your products, and showcase it to the world at large, you have to open up. You have to be frank about what you have and what you need to do. This is, it's just theory. It's just theory. We have to have some practical, we have to imbibe. We have to correct our own failures. That's why we are stuck. We don't seem to, these young people like Apurva and Anita, they are doing excellent because they are understanding that we have failed as a state. And we need to somehow correct ourselves somewhere. We have to learn from them instead of, parroting whatever we have and whatever we can. That's no point. There's no point. It is a good initiative, but to carry it forward, I'm afraid. I traveled the whole world as part of my diplomatic career. Odisha is nowhere. Let me put it this way. To all of you knowledgeable people here, Odisha is not known. If anything is known about Odisha, it is only Jagannath temple, which is known. No GIs of Odisha, no any other thing, no diversities of Odisha. Frankly, because we don't promote ourselves, we don't believe in ourselves, we are not confident in ourselves. We move somewhere along the way. So how do you want to promote yourself? How do you want to have an international dimension of rural tourism of Odisha? It's so far-fetched. Really, it's so far-fetched. It's good in theory.
We have
It's
crossed
good
the
in
line.
Ambassador Mishra.
You write projects, you do your presentations, whatever you want to do. Vivek sir, I'm sorry if I am added a touch of criticality, but it's needed. Sometimes it's good to show the mirror also.
Okay.
And thank you very much.
Okay, I think we are running against time. Professor Mahanti,
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
we
In fact,
we have actually exceeded time,
Yeah.
but it was so interesting that we are not aware of the timing. I think it's a time for us to wind up.
Okay, okay, sir. That's right, that's right. Thank you once again, all of, the panelists and all of the participants, all my team members at the university, and also Massey, we have all integrated. I think we'll take it forward in the next session and continue with different, themes that is necessary to promote Odisha in different aspects, in the international as well as national and regionally also. Thank you all. Thank you.